Forget Hawaii, these spots are cheaper, less remote, and all of them turn on the charm once you are there. Plus, at least one of them has a breathtaking panorama. 5 spots, 2 continents. One of them looks like a puddle on Google Maps. One of them can be reached by public transport. This isn't a video for wave hunters or jump obsessives. It's for anyone who loves a nice flight and maybe fall in love with a place along the way. I built this list over several years, different countries, different seasons, different skill levels. These are the spots that stayed with me, an intermediate wingfoiler who just solved the riddle how to jive. But it's not all about the water, the beach or the wind. I took also into account what happened around it. So a fair warning, every spot here is built for flat water, reliable wind and something worth coming back to. That said, let's go. Starting at number 5. Caribbean of the Bree Alps, that's what the locals call it. The lake is located roughly 1 hour south of Munich, tucked beautifully between the Bavarian Alps. Walchensee runs on thermal wind, cold nights, hot days. That's the recipe. You can literally watch the wind arrive around midday, building from the north and near Urfeld pushing south. Get there early, parking disappears fast. One is in the north, the biggest lot is in the south. Along the way there are little corners where surfers squeezes their vehicles in. You gotta know the area. Best wind comes first to the north at Urfeld. The south end has more space to rig, plus some infrastructure like food stands and toilets. But wind arrives last and runs weakest. The funnel effect from the north fades before it gets there. So in short, cold water, clear water, rarely choppy. A flat water progression spot with one of the best backdrops you will find within an hour of any major city. Best month, April through June, September through October.
Schön, ne?
Who is this for? Beginners and intermediates within the reach of Munich. If you ever happen to be around, shoot me a comment, we can fly together. If Walchensee is the warm-up, Lake Garda is the main event. Probably the most famous windsurf lake in all of Europe, for a very good reason. The lake runs north to south, 50 kilometers long. That funnel shape creates 2 wind windows every single day. The Pelée from the north blows in the morning with up to 30 knots, then it drops. In the early afternoon, the aura builds from the south, steadier but lighter. Better for intermediates and beginners. The east side is where you want to be. Torbole, Navene, Malcesine. The west side runs through tunnels and has less infrastructure. There is a parking spot near Moslone where some people camp. Here you can see the parking situation. Parking is a real challenge at Lake Garda. The most convenient spot is indeed Duotone Pro Center in Torbole, with some grass to rig and an overpriced cafe for drinks and meals. Anywhere else you should expect to carry your gear across the street to the beach.
An was erinnert mich das nur? Ich komme nicht drauf.
Be aware, Lake Garda is huge. If the wind collapses mid-session, and it can, you are swimming. Know your exit before you launch. The best months, late March to end of May, and September and October. What Gardasee has that no other spot on this list, the Italian way of life. Dolce vita, sipping a cappuccino in the afternoon sun or having a pizza for dinner is worth all the parking trouble in the world. Who is this for? Anyone who wants reliable conditions. The north gives you the strongest wind, hard to argue with. This is where the wetsuit comes off. Beach feeling, sand, board shorts, summer. The Bay of Alacati sits on the Cesme Peninsula near Izmir. We are here in the Aegean, running on the Meltemi, one of the most reliable wind systems in the Mediterranean. The bay is protected from the open sea, flat water on the western shoreline. Deep water in the shipping channels just meters away. You can see the exact line where shallow turquoise turns dark blue. Be aware, don't foil over seagrass patches, you will get stuck. The bay has two very different sides. The west side, south of the marina. Here you find splendid infrastructure, Ibiza-like beach bars and surf schools and rental shops. In the bay, many beginners flock to their teachers and the seagrass patches. The bay is standing depth throughout. Outside it's deep, boat traffic is minimal and never a real issue. On the eastern shoreline it drops into deep water faster. My gut tells me the more eager surfers are on that side. For kiters you choose kite spot Alacati southerly. The cover spot is easier to reach, right across from the lively marina. What Alacati gave me beyond the wind? The town. Small alleys, excellent food, Turkish hospitality. These aren't brochure selling points, they are the reason this spot stayed with me. Best month, April through October, June to August for board shorts and maximum wind output. Who is this for? Anyone who wants to combine a serious wing session with a proper summer trip. One of the best on this list. It feels a little weird, it's snowing outside and I'm making a Wingfoil video. Welcome to El Medano, next to the airport Tenerife South. When Europe goes dark and cold, this place has sunshine and wind, reliably all year round. The main spot sits south of town at the foot of the Red Mountain. Usually the northeaster blows, depending on its strength you may have more or less waves. Kiters, windsurfers, wingfoilers and surfers use this spot all together. It can get busy, sometimes even chaotic. So know what you're doing before you launch here. One honest note, El Medano is growing, the town keeps expanding, more condos every season. The question isn't whether it's still good, the question is how long it will keep the vibe that made people come in the first place. Now, my tip. There is an artificial bay a few kilometers up north called Playa del Medio. You need a rental car to get there, pack some lunch and water because there is no bar, no toilets, no infrastructure whatsoever. What you get, the same wind as in El Medano, but thanks to the seawall, there are no waves. Plus, although I wouldn't call the beach secluded, you have room to breathe here, especially on the water. Beginners can drift, the beach is long enough that it doesn't matter. For a wingfoil session without the crowd, it's hard to beat. Best month, year-round, peak wind, May through September. Who is this for? Water sport lovers escaping the Euro winter. Rietvlei is a freshwater lake in a nature reserve near Bluebergstrand in Cape Town. From October to April, the Cape Doctor blows through here. One of the most reliable wind systems I've wingfoiled in. In my humble opinion, the panorama is unbeatable. Table Mountain and Lion's Head in the backdrop. Come on, you gotta admit this is amazing. The lake is big enough to be interesting and flat enough to be fast. The Milnerton Aquatic Club runs the spot. You can become a member for a small fee. In case you're just visiting, just sweet talk the ranger at the gate. On site they have a compressor to inflate your wing if it works, a lot of rig space, a small bar and equipment rentals if you need them. The day I understood why this spot is number one, the Cape Doctor blew hard, roughly 25 knots, but by the time I only carried a 7 square meter wing, way too much for me to handle. While watching some winger, I met Steven for the first time. He carried basically any size of wing from 4 to 8 square meters and let me use his 5. After the session, he offered to let me take it home for the next day because he wouldn't be able to surf or wingfoil and said just throw it over the fence in my garden. TIA, this is Africa. Welcome to Cape Town. Side note, the proportion of Austrians, Swiss and Germans at this spot is alarming. You may not even need English. Best month, October through April. Who is this for? Anyone willing to fly to Cape Town. Which, if you haven't been, you should find any excuse to do. As promised, the surprise. This little gem is called Wörthsee. It sits in the so-called Five Lakes region east of Munich. The kicker, you can reach it by public transport. I have proof. Most people in this area go straight to Hersching on the Ammersee. In contrast, Ammersee is huge, often dark and choppy water. Wörthsee, on the other hand, is the opposite. Small, manageable and calm. And here's the important part for windsurfers and wingfoilers. Wind here is less dependent on thermals than Walchensee. Entry from the Rossschwemme car park, wingfoilers and windsurfers only, no kiters. Shallow near the beach and you can't drift far. It's perfect for beginners because less waves and less busy. In case you want to grab a bite, a snack bar got you covered. Best month, April through October. This is the wingfoil hidden gem of the Munich lakes. Nobody talks about it, everyone who finds it comes back. 6 spots, 1 thread, flat water, reliable wind and something worth being there for beyond the session. Walchensee is your first thermal lesson, Gardasee is Europe's best wind infrastructure. Alacati is what happens when you add culture and heat to good condition. Tenerife keeps you flying when Germany shuts down. And Rietvlei, well, Rietvlei is what happens when you stop looking for the famous spot and go where the conditions actually are. This list is built from personal experience. Your list might be different, and it should be. Which one of my spots is your next trip? Drop it in the comments. I'll tell you exactly what to expect. If you want to follow where we end up next, please subscribe.